Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the MDL qualifiers, MDL CIS qualifiers, excuse me. So we're getting ready to go into game number 3, Vega Squadron facing off against Team Spirit. Got the lovely Draskyl Dota 2 tuning in with me as well. My man, we got a different pick this time around. It's Tree Nightstalker and Dark Willow Gyro. Gyro let through for the first time this game.
Dire team ban.
Yeah, what are they banning instead? It looks like the Viper?
Radiant team
Yeah.
Yes, the Enchantress as well were the two changes. Okay, so I like the NS tree opening a little bit more. Obviously, Blizzy has shown that he's very good at the hero. He understands how to itemize it. You know, the performance that they put against Spirit in game 1, Vega know how to play this hero. So I guess the CIS teams just favor tree as they open up with it on the other side. But I think that the biggest issue really is just that damage output. And Nightstalker, especially as a position 3, he can definitely do a lot of damage in that role because, as we've seen, his tankiness means that he can stay in the fight for long periods of time. That means a lot of silences, a lot of voids, a lot of autos. And I don't think people really give enough credit to how much Nightstalker actually does in the fights outside of just giving you that utility of the silence and the slow.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, the other thing that I kind of like about this opening too is it just feels like it's naturally going to give you a huge vision advantage over their team, right? You've got Tree, who's going to be able to be invis, running around, forcing the supports to buy wards and stuff. Nightstalker, his vision benefits that he brings to the team, very self-evident. The one thing that's a little bit scary is they keep giving this Dark Willow away to Team Spirit, and they play it quite well as well. This hero's terrifying.
Yeah, FNG had a pretty solid game in game number 2 here against Vega with that hero. But again, it's all a byproduct of their own draft. Like, I think it's one thing to go into a game and say, wow, we lost to X hero.
Right.
And it's completely different to just say, okay, our draft was just not very good because of multiple reasons. You know, low damage, not really a whole lot of ways to start team fights. And our early game was also not really spectacular. So I think it's a lot easier in this type of situation to just be, you know, introspective and just say, hey, our draft was kind of weak. Let's see if we can step it up a little bit and give ourselves a real shot in game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Bane now taken another way to try and shore up those lanes a little bit. You talked the other day about the strength of this hero against the pulls that we sometimes see, and that's something that could come back to, you know, be relevant as well. We've been seeing a lot of like Dark Willows running up to the bottom lane and then just like pulling the creep wave way back in a double wave. Not as easy to do that when there's a Bane that just nightmares you and then the creep wave waddles past. But yeah, we'll watch and see how that works. A lot of damage coming out already from Team Spirit though. Blizzy likely to be the pipe builder. Let's see. Wow, there's a CIS classic.
That's the Nightstalker answer right there. It's like, or it also is very good against Tree and Bane because Bane has very long cast animations. So here's a fun fact about Bane. Unless you notice the SB charging from like miles away, it's almost impossible to get any of your spells off on him because your cast points are that bad that he will literally hit you with his charge if you don't cast it from like max range. So it's kind of annoying. I guess you could say it's almost a night. All right, I'm not gonna say the word. You already know what I'm gonna say. You already know what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna put myself at that level. But
I love it.
I do like the BKB lockdown as well, especially with Vega now picking up the Lifestealer. I think SP is pretty good this game, and the instant counter pick with the Razor, actually good against pretty much every single one of Vega's heroes.
Yeah, this has been a bit rough. I think the Lifestealer in game number 1 was pretty just textbook. It was like incredibly solid.
10 seconds remaining.
This time against the Razor, I mean, last time it was against the PL, which is like sort of a late game counter. To me, the Razor feels like an all game counter to Lifestealer.
Yeah, it's very true. But the Lifestealer is also a counter to Gyro.
Okay.
So it's one of those heroes that a lot of teams, not even just in the CIS region or Europe, it's also like everyone's just picking Lifestealer because the hero has a good laning phase. There's not a lot of matchups that he just can't win. He offers a hero that can fight pretty early, kind of like Juggernaut. You have the magic immunity built in. You do a lot of damage, and your ganking potential is great because you can just hop in someone, and if they have a disable or a way to get into the team fight, you're right on the hero that you want to be, and you just get the kill. Yeah. And no matter what you pick against him, countering that aspect of him is almost impossible because you have to kill the hero that he's inside and kill him somehow before he's able to get out and get on the person that he wants. And plus,
5 seconds
the itemization right now on the hero, the Radiant Solar Crest, it solves like almost every single one of his issues. He's not a very high base armor hero. He doesn't flash farm very fast. So having the Solar Crest and the Radiance together makes him incredibly tanky during the rage. It's almost like even if you're hitting him and you do high physical damage, you're still not guaranteed to get that kill. So it's just a really, really strong meta hero at the moment.
Well, Team Spirit, they have the first pick in the last phase as well.
5
and
seconds
they are
remaining.
still in need of, well, I thought it was going to be an offlaner. There was a Visage band out, actually. So we'll see if that's what they want to go for. Vega Squadron, do you think that they need another vehicle? Because to me, at least, it feels like Tree and Night Stalker can kind of do it, but it's not as good of that initiation as we saw with the Earth Spirit in game number 1.
Well, given the way that they've been drafting, they don't really prioritize giving Undershock like these initiation heroes. They often just give them like the Vipers and the Shadow Fiends and, you know, the more, not necessarily position 1-y, but definitely something that gets farm. So I'm not sure if they really want to field that. I don't know if they're going to pick like a Puck or a Queen or anything, you know, that really just kind of forces the issue. I think they might just go back to another hero that can hit towers, because right now that's Vega's biggest issue, is that they actually do not have a great team at Siege. It's a good team for lanes and it's a good team for fighting, but it's not necessarily a good team for actual pushing.
Whoa, Dark Seer Spirit Breaker, a tale
The
as old
blast
as
from the
time.
past. Yeah, this is like, woo! I'm getting flashbacks to like TI5. Actually, it was TI6 too, I think, a little bit. I want to say we saw some DS Spirit Breaker
10
and some
seconds
DS Earth
remaining.
Spirit.
Yeah, the Razor back then, the Dark Willow, they were all hanging out.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh god, my jokes just fall so flat.
I mean, that one was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say mine was still worse. So I'm saying you won me 0 right now.
All right, I can dig it. Vega Squadron, I want to see a Storm Spirit. I feel like we're not going to see a Storm, though. That would be really cool.
Oh, they do go to the
You may
Puck.
now
Okay.
select your heroes.
I've thought a lot about like the absolute best heroes to partner with Lifestealer, and Puck is like way up on that list.
Okay.
Because he's very mobile, and unlike a lot of the other heroes that blink in and just start the fight, Puck doesn't just kill himself when he does it. There are some heroes that you go in and you aggro blink, and you might get the Lifestealer in the fight, but you're also very likely to die in the process. And Puck is unique in that he can get the Lifestealer in and not necessarily sacrifice his own livelihood to do so. Another one that's kind of similar is Bat, just because Firefly gives you the mobility to be able to walk over cliffs and stuff. That one's a little bit different. But yeah, I love the Puck. This is the first time I've seen Undershock on a hero that isn't Viper or Shadow Fiend throughout the entire qualifier. So I'm stoked. Let's go.
All right, game number 3, ladies
10
and gentlemen. Again, it's a
seconds
best of 5. So this one just gives an advantage to one team, whoever ends up
5
taking it.
seconds remaining.
Very curious to see how it works out. And as we had also mentioned earlier in the series, this is a lineup that they've played each other a ton. I want to say it was something like 20 games or something in the past month or so, maybe even more than that. So far, Vega Squadron has come out slightly ahead in terms of the number of games won, while Team Spirit has come ahead in terms of the number of series won. But Vega Squadron, I believe if I'm remembering it correctly, have won the last 3 series against them. So CIS showdown going on here in the grand finals for MDL. And we are getting into the game now. Talk to me about Darkseer, because this is a hero that has not really seen a ton of play recently, and I'm not exactly sure why.
Well, I think that Darkseer is actually still a very, very strong laner for obvious reasons. He's really good at the shove, and he excels the most when he can enable other heroes. So he wants to put Ion Shell on someone, he wants to surge you, he wants to cause pressure. So like your common pairings with Darkseer would be like obviously Spirit Breaker, then you have your Earth Spirits, sometimes Sand King, Ursa, any hero that really wants to get into melee range and just, you know, throw autos, throw out a stun, and really utilize that Ion Shell damage. That's how you pressure. That's how you win the lane so hard that you basically result in getting a very early tower, and you can kind of snowball that advantage even further. So I think the reason that you don't really see him that much is just because, a lot of teams just, they change preferences, you know? It's not necessarily that a hero is super bad or, you know, he needs a buff. It's just people like to play other stuff. They like to continually evolve, and Darkseer sometimes just kind of falls by the wayside. But I will tell you this, he is an extremely consistent
30
hero.
seconds to
He
battle.
will get his farm. He will get his items. You know what you're getting when you pick a Darkseer. There's nothing really like crazy out of the ordinary that you can do with the hero that's going to make you like a standout player, unless you're hitting like amazing like 5-man back walls, and that just doesn't really happen a whole heck of a lot. So he does what he does. You know, he's like a tide hunter in that sense. He's very stable.
Okay. Well, he also cut his way through those trees there, so he already has a path away in case he ends up getting dove later on.
The
Vega
battle
Squadron look to be
begins.
able to secure themselves 2 bounty runes here. Simultaneously, Team Spirit going to get their own 2, and this is going to be tree down bottom with Mr. Blizzy. So Night Stalker, tree, very survivable. Undershock mid, Life Stealer, and a Bane up top. We'll see how they end up doing in this game.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know what the answer is going to be to like this kind of this dual lane mid. I mean, clearly in this lane, Puck would have an advantage if the Dark Willow wasn't here. But with the dual lanes coming in from Team Spirit and both mid and bottom, could be seeing this Puck suffer a bit.
Let's use the phase shift for multiple things. Syak gonna get a lot of his damage stolen here from Illidan. So he's gonna be able to have a nice time in the laning stage as well, while Vega is kind of coming in here and trying to bully DK Phobos around. He's definitely played Darkseer a time or two, though.
Yeah, even for a DS, this lane can be kind of annoying. Especially since it's almost impossible to get a kill here, just because of Nightmare. But you can push out the lane, you can get the EXP, and this is what I mean by consistency. This lane would be pretty much impossible for any like normal offlaner. Even something like a Tide Hunter would kind of struggle, just because you don't do enough damage to push the wave as fast as you want to. And that's kind of the beauty of the DS, is that you push the wave so fast, even at level 1, that you're almost like guaranteed to be able to get enough levels to get to 3. And then if you want to jungle or you feel like you have to move at that point, then you can.
Right. Well, we're gonna have to watch this mid lane too, because this feels like it's just a battle of how are you gonna be able to work with phase shift. Like Curse Crown combo together with the missile coming in, it kind of just needs to be perfectly executed, as it looks like they're going to try and go for a courier snipe here. Anything going to be brought out soon? They do have wards on it, but missile, and he's going to get hit by the Shadow Realm after the missile goes out.
That's a nice little bit of teamwork, but it's also quite a bit of mana between the two of them just to deal a bit of damage. I'm not even sure if doing that is worth it. They really just need to make sure that the gyro's farming. Like, killing the Puck, pretty unlikely, but, you know, being making it so we can't really farm, then that'll be easy.
Yeah. Well, there is going to be mid again, Bane going in, and they hit him with the scan, realizing that he could go in there to try and go for a courier snipe. It does look like he sees it. Bane going to make the long wraparound, and it's within vision, so this could still be a courier kill. We'll have to watch for it. And he's going to commit for it. Courier dead.
Has been killed.
Under the tower.
I mean, that was crazy that they even hit the scan and the courier still died.
Yeah.
Like, I was not expecting him to be able to pull that off. But nice little alleviation there for the mid lane. Not going to be able to ferry out regen as easily. And Undershock is still getting his levels, you know. He's catching up in the CS now. That courier kill is going to help his lane a lot.
Yeah. Keep the pressure on. No Bassi coming out. Another Shadow Realm and Undershock going to be able to phase shift that one. And in the meantime, it's been DK Phobos who's out of mana. And Lifestealer kind of owning the CS. They do have Spirit Breaker charging in. We'll see if they can do anything with that. Seems like he's just going to back out and rage it off. Or just be perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's not feeling any pressure, really. Like, even sitting on this amount of HP with First Blood, looks like Vibrant are dropping in the mid lane. Undershot kills him in a 1v2. Huh. You know, sometimes you have expectations, Gabe, and sometimes they are just... they are not met.
Yeah. I expect heroes also to skill up abilities. Bane just sitting here with nothing. He's just been running around and punching people. Punching couriers? This is the most I've seen get done by a hero without ability skilled.
He's just doing a challenge, man. New challenge, no skills.
G taking some more damage there. They ended up still moving mid with Slayer. And yeah, G forced to use another salve here. So Puck kind of winning the 2v1 while top lane Lifestealer's winning, and bottom lane, it's not like Night Stalker's having a terrible time here against the Razor. Oh no, they use the ability now, and this is going to be a lot of damage onto Mr. Gyrocopter. Silence trying to kill him off. They need to hit this orb though. On cooldown, are they going to be able to find it? They do. A kill there coming in, and Undershock escapes away from the Dark Willow as well.
And at the same time, they also lose Illidan in the bottom lane. First night phase, Blizzy and Zayak managed to kill the Razors. So that part at least is, you know, reminiscent. We've seen that one before. But yeah, the losing mid lane right now. The Gyro's even behind in CS. The Puck's got his double Null Talisman, a bottle, and dupes if he wants to buy them right now. Man, this is... I swear, these laning phases are never close.
Yeah, these teams, they play a lot, but they just kind of trash each other whenever they play. A little bit nutty. What's the vision here from Vega? Look at all these wards drop down over on this side. This one was obviously to block out the camp, which worked to great effect. But now they've got some vision behind the tower. They've got vision up here on the high ground where the Ancients are, if in case there was any stacking going on, which it doesn't look like there was. Vega dotting their I's, crossing their T's, while Zayat is going to eat up the ward as well, so they can't even kill off the tree.
Middle lane again, another Nightmare on a G.
Forces the rotation. There's the charge now, going to hit onto Slayer. Nope, they kill it off. The missile hits, but nothing else.
It's a good thing that they backed off. I don't really see how they kill. The Bane is very, very tanky.
And Dark Willow looking like it might end up going down there. Illidan trying to save his buddy, but it's just not going to happen. There is a charge coming through now. They take the bounty rune, running away. Lots of damage now onto Blizzy. He does have Hunter in the Night, though. So he's going to go for a little flyaway. And Vega getting away with murder. 4-0 start, 6 minutes into 2,000 gold lead.
I don't know how this happens literally every game they play. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't have that much worse lanes back and forth every time. Illidan might be dropping here bottom, no TP.
They're charging in, though, trying to make this turn happen. They will have Static Link back up now, so Blizzy needing to run. Gets the slow onto the Razor, and that keeps them alive. Undershock rotates in, though. They have the Dream Coil trying to burn through this Razor. He is going to fall to the punch from the tree, and now FNG also in trouble. He is also going to go down. 6-0. Vega striking back hard in game number 3.
It's just a difference between having a Treant Protector with heroes who actually do damage versus, you know, heroes that don't do damage. Like the Night Stalker pairing and even the Bane, both those heroes are wildly more effective during the early laning phase than a Rubik would ever be. And it's being showcased here, like how much more he's able to offer to the team just because of that one fact.
And Illidan's had enough. He's like, I want to go to a lane where I know I counter somebody. And he's just going to run at this Razor. We'll probably get Nightmared in a second here. Looks like Slayer is going to stick around, though, and some damage done. But they're not deterred by this Spirit Breaker, who's just going to get ran at by Blizzy now. And Team Spirit again have to run. They just came here with the Razor, and he can't do anything. He's already forced to leave.
So I find it very interesting that both of these teams obviously value Night Stalker very highly, but neither one of them are banning it, even though Night Stalker does work in every single match.
Yeah.
It's just really curious that this hero gets through every single time when clearly he is pivotal in who wins the game.
Yeah.
Like, it just feels like both these teams know how to play the hero exceptionally well, and they just crush every time. FNG coming in again, seen this one before. Just going to back off.
I kind of agree with what you were saying, though, that their idea was to have Spirit Breaker as the answer to it, to, like, mirror his movements or whatever. And it's just showing off that, like, maybe they thought, okay, if we can win when they have Night Stalker, we win the series. And it's proving that this is a tough moment to get through, at least. We'll see if it works out for them as the game goes on. But at least for now, Blizzy is having a very free time of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's just walking around doing pretty much whatever he wants. And, I mean, the Darkseer, he's doing pretty much the normal build. He's getting the Helm of the Dominator as top lane. Could be seeing another initiation here on Illidan.
They're going in right now, though, with the Gyrocopter, trying to take these guys down, and Rage is about to wear off as well. They're chasing forward. Blizzy trying to create that separation. They lose the Bane. And now a Cursed Crown there as well. The Dream Coil down. Is Shock really going into this right now? I call it off. So they hold on to several of their heroes. With Zayat's here, no level 6 yet. He could still root somebody on the way out. He's thinking about it. They decide no.
Now he wanted to punch them so bad there. I could feel it. That's the movement of a man who wants blood.
Yeah.
Well, bottom lane, Shoma's gonna spot out the DS. He's on level 3 on Bane actually. He's pretty underleveled. I guess the SP is also level 3, so like respective to the time in the game, he's a bit underleveled, but to the other support, it's about even.
They did see this charge mid, so Blizzy is going to back off. Tree, again, giving some nice vision for his team. And if they wanted to, I think they're going to go on Illidan here. They find the root, there's going to be the extra bit of damage with the Veil, and, well, he's running. They get the Purge off. He's going to get out of there.
And that was a real close one. Dropping again there would have been pretty painful. Let's see. Is the Lifestealer actually going Armlet this game? He's not going for the Radiance this time around. Interesting that he's not going for Radiance in this game, but he decided to go for it in, was it the first game?
Yeah.
That he went Radiance? Yeah. This is a little bit of a change up. I don't have anything against Armlet, by the way. I think it just means that Vega are looking to play a quicker paced game.
Okay.
Whereas before, when they won the first time when they had a Lifestealer, he basically didn't even have to fight. Like, he just got to do whatever the hell he wanted and they won that game.
Right. Yeah, and it's going to be, I guess, the other thing is they can fight more early since Puck is probably going to have a decent time on his Blink Dagger. He did go Veil first, which makes it a little bit different, but they're going to pressure down this tower. Fiverr trying to pull the creep wave past. There's still this other one that's here. And they might end up being able to take it. So do you think with this timing, having the armlet online, that they need to get stuff done to make that worth it?
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily about making it worth it. It's just an item that gives him... It's just efficient. You know, it's a lot of bang for your buck.
Okay.
A lot of armor, damage, HP. It's pretty much everything Lifestealer wants. Charge on a bit.
Pull in with everybody. Able to find this guy. 16 wand charges. Doesn't end up popping them there, and he does fall. He thought that he was dead regardless since he didn't have darkness for a couple seconds. So Team Spirit taking a kill, much needed for them.
Tower is under attack.
As top lane, they did finish off that tower.
Curious to see the next movement coming out of Vega. I'm assuming, you know, the next night's coming soon. They're going to want to try to make something happen. But they're obviously going to want... I think they go for like an infest play, perhaps, with NS.
Okay. Illidan again farming down bottom. They do ping him out, and now that should be a rotation in from the Night Stalker, and that already well read by Team Spirit. They're going to back out with the Razor. Darkness is popped, and we'll see where he decides to go. He's within vision almost of that ward, not quite.
Radiant's bottom
He
tower
wants to
is
scout
under
out this
attack.
area, see where everybody's going. Just need to be careful about going high ground here. Does see out the gyrocopter hitting that little camp there.
He can't really do much on his own. He doesn't have any wards, so more than anything, he's just like prepping so that they know who's there when the push actually happens. And they're circling, so both teams know where each other are, more or less.
Level 6 on Zayat as well. They drop down a ward, which does scout out this Night Stalker in the area. So right now, Team Spirit full vision of this. They're bringing in heroes as well. They have the Spirit Breaker charge, going to run forward for it, but they need to be a little bit careful. The counter initiation is going to come out from the Lifestealer. They blow up the back line. That is a dead Razor. The Overgrowth on the 4. The follow-up Dream Coil is going to be there as well. They're starting to take a little bit of Viper, dealing the damage as well. With that Bedlam, they're almost taking down with a Nightmare save. They do lose the Lifestealer. It's not enough at the end of the day. The Fiend's Grip off to the side. They're able to catch there. They don't break it, actually, with the Vacuum either. Bane trying to run away from them. DK Phobos starting to deal the damage, but Blizzy gets to the low ground, the Cursed Crown, the turnaround, and they might actually be able to take this fight continuing. Vega looking for the finish onto Phobos. They get the Surge away, though. Shadow Realm, this might end up being a dead Blizzy. The jump out, though, from the puck, and, well, Vega, they've gone too far. Zayat gets dusted, and this ward giving all the vision in the world that sets up for the Team Spirit teamfight win.
Man, how do you lose a team fight when you hit a 5-man Overgrowth and a 3-man Coil? That's actually insane to me that they lost that team fight, but... You know, Blizzy, a little bit of panic there. He walked into like 3 different Brambles. Like, he took so much damage from just that one spell. I think they would have been able to get the kill that he was chasing for, but he just kept running into him. He was trying to chase DK Phobos and couldn't get the last Void out and overcommitted. Ended up getting a lot of his teammates killed, so definite misplay there. coming in from Vega, and just like that, the gold lead shrinks.
Dire's middle tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
and I don't know how it was that the Lifestealer ended up dying there. Like, what was it that killed him off? It was...
He got stunned after the rage, and then he ate a Bedlam and just like flat cannon, rocket barrage damage, stuff like that. Like they were pretty much hard focusing him.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It feels like his survivability is like the most important thing in some ways for Vega Squadron. He's trying to get towards a Deso now too, so he can just blow up his other heroes, but 10-6, it's still a Vega Squadron lead, but that last team fight hurt a lot, and well, need to be careful about the Dominator. A root onto any one of these heroes could be pretty tragic.
As far as the fights go, when you have the Lifestealer combination, you really want to get a kill on the core during the duration of a rage. So if you can kill the Lifestealer, you can kill the Gyro before the rage wears off, then you're looking to be in a pretty good position. But I don't know like how the fight actually kicked off, like what he went on, but obviously it didn't work out for him. Ooh,
yeah.
That's a rough stun right there.
Yeah, he does have Blink, able to back away from there. So under shock, still getting chased out. Terrorize, gets the fear, and that'll be enough to take down the puck. Meanwhile, Altimos moving into this, but they're TPing in the Gyro. Do Vega really want to fight this without their puck? It's a little bit bold, but if they can take down the Gyro at the start of this, there's the turnaround, though. They have the grip on the other side. That's onto the Dark Willow, actually. Slayer is going to fall, but they did take down the Gyrocopter. As they end up losing that Bane. Oh, Blizzy trying to run away.
Dire's
They'll
middle
take
tower
that
is
trade.
under attack.
It wasn't too bad considering it basically kicked off by someone getting picked,
Dire's
and
middle
then
tower
they
has
TP to
fallen.
react, and they ended up losing the Gyro. So yeah, good kill. Let's see. Lifestealer going for the Deso build, so a bit more of a quote-unquote standard Lifestealer, even though nowadays the standard is pretty much Radiance every single game.
Right.
But I like it. I like the direction because it means, again, they know that the later the game goes, it's probably going to get more difficult for them. Like, Gyro scale is great. Razor is always going to be a counter to the hero throughout every single stage in the game. And it's just like, if you're not pushing the pace with these heroes, like Puck, Night Stalker, Lifestealer, you're going to run into some issues late game.
Well, they know that all these heroes are here. Zayat going to be revealed as well, and he gets hit by the root now. Does not have overgrowth. And this does mean that Altimos need to get the hell out of there. The vacuum, he didn't rage for it. Oh, that's real bad now. He's trying to turn and take down Illidan, doing a lot of damage, but with that static link continuing on, they're going to lose the Lifestealer. Team Spirit looking incredibly solid after what was a little bit of a rough laning stage.
I mean, they're looking a lot better, yeah, but you could also attribute that to just mistakes. Like, the Lifestealer didn't have a TP, or did he get canceled? Did he get backed in Fog? Is that why he didn't TP? Okay. Alright, so that one is just like, okay, he didn't hit Rage, which is still a mechanical mistake, but a lot of it just has to do with the fact that Vega are maybe overstepping their bounds a tiny bit in regards to what they can actually get away with.
Right.
And when they fought bottom, I mean, that's a perfect example of it, right? They thought that they would be able to team fight, but they're still not as high of a damage output team as what Spirit are in fights, like Vac Walls and Plasma Field, AoE from the Willow, Bedlam, Call Down Flak, like all this stuff, just tons of damage. Bottom, another skirmish here.
Got Phobos, it looks like. So the Willow, or rather the Darkseer does get taken down, and Dark Willow trying to TP out of there. They have overgrowth, but they don't use it. He's invis anyway, so I think that doesn't work with the Shadow Realm, if I remember right. I think I saw that the other day, actually.
Yeah.
I think actually, thinking back to that Lifestealer down bottom, I think he had used Rage when he was thinking they were shut diving him, so he had raged earlier and it was on cooldown. But still, a tough situation for Vega there. They still are holding on to the top net worth spot. They still got incredible team fight, but Team Spirit feel like they're taking the fights they need to. Blizzy is going to get stronger now, going back for the hood afterwards. And, well, Supreme Protector, bottom, going to be killed off again.
God, that is an incredible spell, that Bedlam thing. It's like the most ridiculous amount of damage if you're allowed to like isolate a hero and get every single hit on them. We're going to see a double smoke here, just the Bane and Alessio. They're going to run into immediate Fiend Script out of Phobos.
Yep. They're coming in, though, with that Spirit Breaker. Try and get this DK Phobos away. He is going to fall. That last right click, looks like it had some extra range on it, but he gets the Infest into the range creep, and now they're running away. It is going to be one of the first ones to die, though. Oh, wait, no, the Razor ultimate. They end up denying it. Now he needs to run. In some trouble. Body blocks abound. And they get there. The overgrowth. Oh, Palatemos gets the Arma toggle off. Bedlam's still chasing. They have dust on this Trio Protector, but they saved this Lifestealer. They get away with it, although they did lose the puck.
Yeah, they're probably still going to lose the power for it. So, yeah, they saved his life, which is great. Lifestealer's able to farm another day. But I mean, they really want to keep these tier 1s alive if they can, because they do have that Treant Protector, and every single tower that lives through a push is just going to get healed back to full. But as we see, Spirit able to just take it down. No real battle going on there, just a little bit of chasing. But yeah, the later the game goes, Vega are probably going to start feeling more and more like anxious about we need to continually do stuff. You know, our Lifestealer is going for this very mid-game oriented build. He's now transitioning into a Nullifier, which obviously is very good.
Yeah.
You can use it to purge off the Surge debuff as a G. Gonna TP out here. It's immediately Yules.
Yep. They've got him caught there. A nice tree plant as well, so that way they made sure that they kept the root duration. They get the fear, though, and now Lifestealer again in some trouble. G has lived throughout this fight. There's the Cursed Crown as well. They're going to jump inside of the tree, but they drop down the Sentry Ward as well. And now Zayat's under fire, going to fall. They find the root. They find the stun. They lose the Lifestealer yet again, and there's that anxiousness to get stuff done that ends up not paying off for them. And Vega almost going to end up losing Blizzy as well, who now has the rocket on him. Undershock trying to turn it. Silence. It's on to 2, but it's not enough. They find the stun onto the Night Stalker. They decided to go back into this. And Vega lose another. His team spirit still feeling happy as a clam, just going to back out, take their winnings.
Structures are fortified.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate circumstance. Like, they had no vision of the area. If you look at the warding right now from Vega, they have wards in the jungle and they have wards mid. There's a ward bottom too, like by the ramp where the rune would spawn, but they don't actually have vision of where they were fighting. So they knew that there was a tier 1, they still go for a kill, and there was actually a ward not too long ago around where the sentry is on the high ground from Spirit, like the low one, yeah, about right there. And they were fighting basically right under it. So Spirit knew exactly what was going on, they knew how many heroes were there, and that they were going to go take a fight. And Vega had no such information. So taking those types of fights does kind of show a little bit of desperation when you're not fighting around where you have a vision established. Undershock will be able to TP away from that little snafu in the mid lane. But yeah, a 2k gold lead doesn't seem huge, but it's more about the hero composition than anything is what makes the lead big.
And I mean, it is now going to go back for a Nullifier on Palatemos. That is one of those items that I feel like can transform Lifestealer into the kind of anti-carry that you need in the late game, but it's all dependent and predicated upon having a good initiation. And right now, they're being scanned by the Dire. Dire know what's going on. They're getting themselves in a position to defend against this. They've got Mech on Phobos now. It's a hard fight to take. And FNG ready to get the turnaround with the Ion Shell on this Spirit Breaker. Charge, ultimate, everything ready. Vega Squadron not going to be able to defend this tower, it looks like, as it's going to fall. And now the charge onto Blizzy. Undershock there. They cancel the charge. They take down the tower. Now able to find Slayer over to the side. He's completely left alone. He did Nightmare to try and save his life, but dead. And now Vega just need to back out.
I mean, I guess one of the kind of saving graces here from Vega is that neither team is really great at killing Roshan. They can both do it, it'll just be slow. And when that happens, maybe, you know, Vega find an opportunity, and likewise, it's like, if you can't do Roshan, then the opportunity to push high ground doesn't come until much later into the game. The later the game goes, maybe you have more chances to find picks, like here, Illidan will be spotted.
Yeah. As has been the case this game, he is going to fall. The Sacrificial Razor. And that does reveal also the Meteor Hammer's picked up on the tree. So more ways to delay the game. This time at least it feels like they're delaying the game towards something. Like they have abilities to take fights. But again, predicated upon those good fights.
We'll see if they can find one here. It's another smoke up. This is everyone.
Ooh.
All the boys.
Blizzy reveals himself. There is G, the chase, the terrorize. It comes in at the right time, but still Palatemos able to find him. So Gyro is going to fall. Had Lifestealer jumped out right there, it would have been tragic. Okay, Phobos now also going to be isolated. They've got Fiend Script for him. So things starting to fall apart a little bit here for Team Spirit as they are going to lose another one, and this might just be Roche.
That was a nice couple of picks. Very good smoke. They were quick about it too. Like they smoked up and they immediately just like bolt right to where they want to go. And the important thing too is they did have vision there a little bit earlier, so they were smoking to where they knew they had vision. So that's also something that was really important about it. They're going to buy back. They realize what's at stake here, not wanting to give away the Roche, and obviously you don't want your gyro to buy back. You don't absolutely have to. Getting that BKB is going to be really important during these fights, just so you don't get stuck in like a Dream Coil and a Night Stalker Silence and stuff like that. Because that miss chance, if they put it on the gyro, that hurts a lot. Like your damage output plummets.
The other thing to mention, there was amazing vision around this Roche pit for the Dire. They knew that this was going to be a point of contention, and so they made sure that they had all that in the world. They do place down a sentry ward here in the cross paths where we've been seeing a lot of Treant movement, and he is going to need to be careful as he heads through this direction. But nobody from Dire there. They are wrapping, though, and they've got eyes onto Phobos. If he dies backs right here, trying to run, they have the Nightmare, the chase continuing. They end up bursting through Zayat right there, but they jump out. They're starting to blow up that Razor. Overgrowth is going to be available after the Meteor Hammer drops a little bit off the mark. They'd already used it, though, and now they're trying to take down this Razor. Can they do it? Everybody from Vega needs to get the hell out, as they did lose the Life Stealer, and now maybe going to lose more. Illidan living, and the fact they only brought down the Willow there, not good enough. He bought back, and, well, now they're chasing forward for more. Blizzy needs to get out. So it looks like rest of Vega. Oh, Root there, connecting. Fuel Scepter lift up. Able to phase shift some of it. And he is going to jump away, but still going to die.
That was brutal.
Oh, God, and they also caught the tree. Tree going to fall. So Vega lose 4. And again, maybe just a little bit too ambitious with their decision to go there.
I mean, I think that they have the right ideas. Like, they need to be doing stuff. But it's hard to discern between what's a good play and just being aggressive like your team is supposed to do, and what's, you know, going too hard. And a lot of it, again, is just vision. Like, that time around, they had been dewarded already. They didn't really know exactly what they were fighting. So they're just going in, and they know that they need to do something, potentially get Roche after a team fight, and that'll let them reestablish some kind of a way to win the game.
Yeah.
But they can't always get like a perfect engage, you know, unless your warding is just immaculate, and no one's is, because people just buy a crap ton of sentries and just put them everywhere, kind of like what Spirit did towards the mid lane. There's 4 sentries on one side and 2 on the other, so you're gonna get dewarded eventually. It's just a matter of how often it happens. But yeah, it's difficult to play from behind like this if you're Vega, because you know your team comp doesn't necessarily scale as well, and you're also not in a good place when it comes to vision.
Yeah. Blizzy breaks the charge forward to FNG, and that will get him out alive. Team Spirit placing a nice ward up here on the high ground. They'll be able to have some vision at least up towards the area, spotted Undershock there. And see if they want to set up on anybody, but it's easy peasy from this point. They're in the lead, and as you said, their composition's better in the late game. What do you do now if you're Vega Squadron?
You just got to find a good opportunity for a fight. Try to split them up if you can. You know, go for a pick, Undershock. It's going to be just fine. Blinks away from the charge plasma field combo. But yeah, it just really boils down to finding the correct fights. And that sounds like pretty straightforward, but it's not for like a billion reasons. You know, you don't know who you're going on. Like, are they in position? How many heroes are showing on the map? Do you have vision? Like, it's very, very difficult to play games like this when you know that you're stressed that you need to be doing more.
Yeah. Looks like Zayat will be found here. Oh wait, no, they canceled the charge. Was that interrupted by something? Might have been by Night Stalker. But that keeps the tree alive.
Yeah, I thought I heard a void, but maybe I was wrong. I don't know.
Well, you said it. They split. They managed to get that. Gee. Are they going to really go for this? This seems so bold, but they're going to Fiend Script from the side. They blow him up rather rapidly. So getting away with murder, but they had already used Rage on Palatimos. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to punish that, though. Slayer going to be the one to fall. Everybody else walking away, and Tree should escape.
I mean, we take those trades as Vega every day of the week, no question.
Oh, yeah.
Kill the gyro, needed him to get a chance to pop his BKB, just eats a full duration Fiend Script and drops. But that's kind of what I'm saying, is like finding those picks is what's going to keep Vega in the game. As long as it's nighttime, the NS will have not necessarily free reign, but he'll definitely have the vision advantage. And if people are showing him lanes and they're split farming, that's when you can strike.
3 minutes until daytime. He spots out all these heroes running his direction. Team Spirit unable to spot out the Night Stalker. Undershock pushing up here. Is able to walk away from them. So again, that good vision means they dodge the gank. And Team Spirit still looking for what they want to try and accomplish now. Okay, so Blink on Tree. They're again getting into these items that are hard to deal with. Undershock clips through the creep wave, then gets away. How do you deal with this vision? Is it just play defense? Oh, he's going Midas.
I mean, if their plan is to delay the game and they want to abuse like this Lincoln's split pushing puck, I'll be honest, it's really hard for them to kill Undershock. Like, it's very hard. That's probably one of the best things about their team right now, and the best thing about being a puck in this game is how difficult it really is once you have Lincolns to die, because you can't be charged.
Right.
So if you can't be charged, then you just use it as a Lincoln's breaker, but then the other problem is you don't have a blink initiation, right? I mean, the Willow can blink on you, but it's not like an instant stun. It's not a hex. It's not like an ability that's going to stop you from just orbing away or phase shifting and blinking, right?
Yeah.
So they need a way to kill him. Otherwise, he will continue to live in the side lanes and delay the game as long as they can.
And I guess maybe this was always one of the thoughts that Vega Squadron have, is that, you know, taking the Treant and the Night Stalker in the first phase means they're always going to have such a huge vision advantage. Undershock drops the coil to try and escape, phase shift. Maybe going to be able to get out of there. In some trouble. They have the Ion Shell on these two heroes as well, and he is going to go down. No Lincolns yet.
Did he get purged out of his Yules, or what happened? I actually was watching bottom when they ganked him. Did he like mess up a phase shift?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see what it was. There's the Yule Scepter. Oh, they got him stuck on the high ground. Blizzy gonna TP away. Stun. Not gonna be there in time. Soccer barely gets out of there.
That's really strange. Like, I feel as though... Oh, nice little ulti here.
Be careful, though. If he does not get out of there in the air in time. Side's still looking. All right, they got eyes on him. But Lifestealer is here also. They get the mute onto the gyrocopter. They got him isolated and killed. So again, you take that trade, and FNG also in there. DK Phobos backing wall onto 2. Are they really trying to take this fight without the gyro?
Well, they almost had Bedlam up. I'd say if they have enough damage, they just have that one spell.
They have Rage available, still ready to turn this with the Nullifier available onto Illidan, but he pops the BKB, and now need to back out as Blizzy getting ran at. Lots of damage, though. The mute's there after the fact. They find the kill onto the Spirit Breaker, but that's all they got. Now, do they have any other ways to take this fight? They can go for initiation from Zayats, but it looks like Team Spirit don't want to push for any more.
This gyro is still, like, pretty squishy. And the Lifestealer is kind of climbing towards the top of the net worth with the Nullifier, too. You know, you get on him with the Fiend's Grip and you nullify him or something like that, or even if he just gets, like, hit by a Void and he's not able to BKB fast enough, it's very, very easy for this Lifestealer to just go in there and kill him. Like, he's going to need to be surged or, you know, maybe ulted by the SB to kind of disable him during that magic immune period so he's not able to just freely hit someone. Because that's the scariest thing right now, besides just, like, the puck combo, is the Lifestealer hitting someone without being interrupted. And I think that's where the SB is really going to have to come in big, and also the Static Link from the Razor. Those two spells have to be on point. Because not only do you want to stop him from hitting, but you also want to, like, drain his damage during that time. So, like, a charge into another strike could be enough as long as you get the Static Link there.
Well, Slayer is going to be charged again towards mid, trying to build towards the Force Staff, not going to be able to get it in time. And with the Illidan wraparound, will end up not actually getting the stun off, but they pop the ulti for him. So Slayer falls, and it looks like Team Spirit gonna try and push mid lane. They do not have a glyph available on the Dire team, or rather Radiant team. So that tower's dead. They trying to fight this? Undershock. He does have Lifestealer inside of him. They're thinking about it. Ulti pop for NS. Looks like they are going to walk out, but he actually is going for a Nullifier as well. Decided to forego the Aghanims.
Dire are scanning.
I mean, I think Nullifier is probably one of the best items right now that people just don't buy.
Right.
It's like crazy strong because if you get it at a time in the game like this where BKBs are coming out and you really want to stop them, like you know that your team needs to kill them before they BKB or whatever or go magic immune. It's great. Like you just they can't do anything. It's not like a mini Doom or anything because you don't have Orchid, but it's good enough to the point where you can get on your target and get the kill.
Yeah. Well, Zayat, after finishing off the Hand of Midas, is now more than halfway to Agnum Scepter, which is not something you see all that often. They go on to the Bane Illusion in the mid lane. They're going to be able to walk away from that there. Undershock still has had this Lifestealer in him the entire time. We've seen if anybody comes back to try and deal with him, but the TP towards the shrine, and maybe a chance to find somebody here. Actually, no, he ended up going back to the bottom lane where they want to try and pressure this tower out, maybe.
I mean, it was a nice idea baiting the puck with the Lifestealer inside, but if the Lifestealer doesn't show on the map for a long period of time, the enemy team's just going to assume an infest, right? Like, it's safe to say, okay, this guy's probably not just running around farming jungle creeps this whole time. They're just waiting to make the play.
And here's the play as they're baiting out the tree. Turn around, Dream Coil onto 2. Lifestealer pops out immediately. There's going to be the overgrowth as well. Lots of damage in on these guys. A good vacuum, and, well, now FNG going to try and continue the fight. They have eyes on the tree. Who's going to walk away? He's not dusted. He's fine. But they get the fear there onto the Lifestealer. Now he's isolated. Gonna fall. Bedlam is just too much damage, and that was not worth it for him.
That was a really nice combination of like the Terrorize and the Bramble Mace. It hit him like right on the edge too. If that hadn't landed, I think there was a chance that the Lifestealer ends up living because that was the last Bramble in the patch. You're gonna see another Yules here on the Zayak. He's mega dead.
He got greedy there, dropped a Meteor Hammer to clear through the creep wave, and they were able to find him with the Yule Scepter. So yeah, Vega Squadron again, hemorrhaging heroes. And now going to drop down the Nightmare from Slayer. He is going to be charged though. They're going to try and set up onto something as Blizzy has shown up and able to get the Nullifier onto the Razor. Isolated, Undershock's there. They get the Fiend's Grip as well. He is going to fall as they end up lifting up afterwards. Oh wait, maybe not. Okay. Well, they end up still getting the punches down. And Fiverr now also going to find the Slayer as he is trying to get out of there. Not going to happen. Muted as Dark Willow's taking some damage, but Gyrocopter's shown up. Able to force the rest of them back. They do have Blizzy isolated as well. Now he does have Hunter in the night. A little bit hard to chase the guy down as he does have a TP and going to be able to escape from there.
I mean, all in all, it's core heroes going down again. I mean, sure, they killed the Lifestealer before that fight happened, but in that particular skirmish, I would still say that Vega did okay. And it's interesting because the way the game is going right now, it is actually like very much so the closest game, and I feel like Vega's lineup should be losing a little bit of steam because their damage is kind of starting to fall off a little bit. The main hero still that's going to do the heavy hitting is the Lifestealer.
Right.
But it just doesn't seem to be the case. They're still able to get the kills. They're still able to take these fights when I feel like Spirit should be doing a little bit better right now than they are.
Well, and I'm wondering, too, how much of an X factor is this Treant Protector? We don't often see this hero get into these levels of farm, and he's going to have an Ags real soon. Andy? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, hey, I couldn't hear you for a second.
Oh, I don't know what I did. Maybe my microphone messed up or something?
Yeah. But Mr. Tree Man, how scary does he get? Well, we got to hold that thought. Blizzy is going to get ran down now, and well, that's just a dead hero. I mean, is Tree with farm something to be scared of at all if you're a Team Spirit team?
I think it's going to be a source of a lot of push, and I think that that's something that right now Vega don't have a tremendous amount of. I mean, they have the puck, but that's about it. Like, none of the other heroes on their team are really good at clearing out the creep waves, and if the Lifestealer is spending the majority of his time infested into the puck, then he's not going to be able to push a lane at all.
Right.
So I think that the Aghanim's is actually, it's pretty integral to transitioning into the late game, because it's vision, map control via pushing, and also some much needed damage.
Undershock is mid again, and we'll have the Lifestealer inside of him. Bane coming around from the backside as well. Thought about it, but Instead, it's going to be Team Spirit going in for Roshan. Now, I think Vega Squadron have an idea that this is happening. Zayat's still a little ways away from getting that Ags, but it doesn't look like they're in a position where they can come and contest it.
Yeah, they just showed bottom, so they definitely know what's happening. I don't know if Zayak wants to go for the steal. This is, I would say, ill-advised, to say the least, especially with the gem on the SP, so... Yeah, this is going to be cheese. And I will say this about Spirit's lineup, it's not like the best high ground sieging team because you got a Razor and a Gyro.
Right.
So if there's a point in which the game can really get turned on its head, it will be like a high ground attempt, I feel. Yeah. If it gets botched and Vega are able to get some kind of good defense on it, there could be potential for a turnaround.
Well, they found the stun, trying to at least onto Undershock, but he again got away. That extra movement speed from the Illusory Orb, and also, as you mentioned earlier, the Lincolns means it's very hard to kill this guy off. We do have level 20, so the extra evasion from the Lifestealer, almost level 20 on the Night Stalker, and with that Nullifier, like multiple Nullifiers are nothing to joke around with. Undershock again able to escape while cutting the creep wave simultaneously. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that might as well too soon. Yule Scepter lift up, trying to get out of there. Phase shift available, and he blinks out.
That's a hard timing to hit there. If I ever tried to go for like Terrorize as he hit the ground, but it's so difficult to land that.
Yeah. Well, Zayat found again, and there's Bedlam, Curse Crown, every damn thing. Nightmare to try and save, but not going to happen. Slayer's just going to be able to TP out of there. But they have the first of these eyes in the forest down.
Yeah, this is definitely a turning point in the game. You know, it's like you mentioned, you don't get to see Tree get that much farm that often. And, oh, is this Puck in trouble? I think he's okay, actually. Yeah, he's fine. But, just the sheer vision that it gives you alone would be enough, but the thing that makes it incredible is the fact that it gives you the 175 DPS.
Yeah.
And that's per second for 4.5 seconds. So you're basically just killing creep waves as they spawn. Right. And that's something that Spirit will have to directly address. Like, they're going to literally have to get, like, a Quelling Blade on someone, probably, I guess, FNG at this point, since he's the one who has the gem, and just go around and get rid of him. You can't let the tree have, like, 10 to 20 minutes to set up. Yeah. Because if he does, all three of your lanes can be simultaneously pushed by one hero. And that's something that is very, very difficult to win against.
And he doesn't even have to be there, either. That's the other thing that's most significant about it. Like, very difficult to deal with. Team Spirit are trying now to sort of set up in this bottom lane and push down the tier 2 tower, but it is a tier 2 tower. Like, this is stuff that has been able to be kept alive for a very long time. It does eventually fall now as Razor has the Aghanim Scepter, and that might be the other answer. Just barrel down a lane and kind of hard to deal with. There's the root now onto the tree. He does end up getting invis, the overgrowth onto several, but Zayat may be in some more trouble there. He's going to fall. Meanwhile, Afterlife still a little ways away from base. Going to make his way back here. And go for an initiation if they want to, but this tower is starting to fall, and Tree still no buyback. Silence is there onto one. They get the Yule Scepter lift up, but if this tier 3 falls, it looks like it's going to. Where do they go from here? Feeble on the Gyro. Done. Silence. All right, there's going to be the trying for the turnaround. Cheese pop, BKB out as well. They're able to take off that Nullifier. The charge comes through onto Slayer as well. They're starting to isolate and take down the Lifestealer, dead for 80 seconds. Team Spirit have solved the high ground problem. They take down the Lifestealer and now going to move for mid. Back
I think this might just be GG. Yeah, what he said too.
Undershock trying to stop it, but it's not looking like it's going to happen. Muted or not, they did not have buyback on their cores. They weren't prepared for the push. And Team Spirit finally taking advantage with that Ags Razor.
That was some huge miscommunication on Vega. Like, Zayak standing in front of the tower like that, the puck not being in the base, he was getting his Aghanims when Zayak got initiated on him. He wasn't able to be close enough to do anything. And, you know, it's pretty anticlimactic, actually, because this was a very exciting game. It was back and forth. You know, both teams had a good chance to win the game. Obviously, we were favoring Spirit the more the game went on, but you know, that doesn't mean Vega can't win. It's just you got to perform, right? And they showed already that they can run these types of drafts that are execution heavy. It's just, man, you got to say to your teammate, I'm not there.
Yeah.
Like, you got to say that, because you can't have your tree, who has probably, let's see, at this point, yeah, he's got 10K, 11K net worth. you can't make him waste his ult and die in front of a Rax with no buyback because of communication problems. That just can't happen.
And maybe in a way, again, that bait of like, he wanted to go down there and get the eyes in the forest on this one tree, and it happened to happen at the moment when Team Spirit was pushing up for high ground. All it takes is a second. And I guess the game is not like fully over yet, but it is a 13,000 net worth swing. Look at that drop. It is going to be a lot harder now as Zayat going to drop the Meteor Hammer and try and TP away from there, which it looks like he is going to. They almost got the charge off there. But Vega looking for a chance to turn with the Aegis wearing off now. This is just so hard now to deal with the lanes pushing in that much more difficultly. And also you've got the Darkseer Ion Shell that keeps on being spammed out.
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah, he's been good about using the Dominator Creed this game, just running it around, putting a shell on it, just being an overall nuisance. I'm kind of like, I don't want to use the word disappointed, but I'm just sad that the game went from being like really close to just, okay, now it's just how long can we really weather the storm for Vega, just because of one mistake like that.
Yeah. Undershock again, not there with his team, and he's going to TP into it now. Can they get there in time? He's able to jump into this fight. BKB's already out though for Militant, and Blizzy going to be controlled. They actually popped the Refresher Shard as well. Going to be able to get a second round of this here. Slayer going to be isolated. Does look like he's going to fall. They lose 3 so quickly. And with only the Puck and the Lifestealer, now Tree back again. GG will play this call. They just had enough. They can't do it.
Yeah, I don't blame him. The game went on, I think, a little bit longer than their draft wanted it to, at least. They weren't really able to find the fights that they needed, and even if they did, I think that their team still has a little bit of a rough time pushing high ground. Maybe if the Lifestealer was like really big, it would have been easier for them. But their team is not really particularly good at killing things like Roche either. So they, again, it's one of those lineups where you need to execute at a very high level for an extended period of time, get your kills, and they were doing it for a bit. I'd say like the first 10-15 minutes, the rotations were good, and then after that it was just a lot of really kind of questionable decisions and not winning the fights decisively enough to be able to stand up against Spirit's draft, and the game just went on for too long.
Yeah. Well, you said execution heavy was the big thing that Vega needed to do. Game number 1, they proved they're capable of it. The last 2 games have gone the way of Team Spirit. We'll see if they decide to switch up their style or if Vega Squadron are going to be able to make it all work for themselves in game number 4. But Team Spirit 1 away from moving on and being qualified for the MDL Major. Stick around, everybody.